Welcome! Chris here with Elite Diecast Productions with another great video. In this video I'm going to show you from start to finish how I created my latest and newest layout to date. I call it the mountain layout as it's highly inspired by my recent trip to the Great Smoky Mountains, particularly the town of Gatlinburg, Tennessee. I moved the shelving around to create a new base and got it prepped for a new design. I laid down some project paper to help me decide where I wanted things. From there I laid it down some foam board and cut it to size. The large gray foam board piece in the middle will be the spine of the mountain, which was then cut to show where the peak of the mountain would be. This was achieved by a foam cutting tool, which I highly recommend getting one. It makes carving out foam board so much easier. Next, I cut out some strips of foam board to create the ribs of the mountain, which would help with shaping the mountain slopes. I then took some foam blocks and cut them to various sizes to create various heights of the mountain base for each building as you go up and down the mountain. These were all secured in place by hot glue gun. Once they dried, I took the excess foam board from the previous cuts and created the base for the buildings, which was then placed on the mountain sides. I filled in the gaps in between each base with other foam pieces. All the roads and the parking lots were created using this corkboard sheet, which came in a large roll like a wrapping paper that I picked up from a local hobby shop. It was very malleable and easy to bend, which helped going over some of the joints on the foam boards. I simply cut this to the desired size and shape. I glued them down using Mod Podge glue. Once the glue was dried, I put another layer of Mod Podge on top of the corkboard to seal it. This helped prevent the paint from soaking into the corkboard. Once the sealer dried, I painted the corkboard with a spray can that had a texture to it. That helped with giving the road more of an asphalt look. To create the slopes of the mountain, I used a roll of steel screen, which was crumbled up and then flattened back out to help create a natural mountainside. I highly recommend using gloves when handling the screen, as the metal splinters are no joke. The screen was secured to the foam board using a staple gun. It took many staples to keep the screen in place. Following the steel screen, I applied several sheets of plaster to start forming the mountain sides. This process was also used to create a mountain cliff on the back of the corner of the diorama. I used the same plaster sheets to blend, and give more of a natural joint to the bases, which were at different heights. The last layer of material laid on the mountain was plaster. This helped with covering up the joints of the plaster sheets and also built up the mountainside to give it more of a rocky look. Once dried, I applied gray paint, which was heavily diluted with water. Following that, before the paint dried, I applied some orange paint, which was also heavily diluted with water, and blended it into the gray paint. The last color I put on there was a black, which was, again, heavily diluted with water. The black gave it depth and really brought the mountain to life. Moving on from there, I started to work on the parking lots and aprons for the fire stations. From here, I spent several weeks assembling and painting all the buildings I ordered. All the buildings, with the exception of the 2 fire stations, were ordered from a gentleman who 3D prints the buildings to order. You can buy them either assembled or as a kit. I prefer the kits, so I could customize them to my personal desire. The striping for the roads and the parking lots were done the same way as my previous Miami-Dade diorama. Using paint pens and rulers made it a lot easier. And again, I made a video about that several months ago that goes into detail. Landscaping was completed using several products I picked up from a local hobby store. Again, if you'd like to know more about how to install the grass or the trees, I made a video on that as well, detailing that out. I'm really pleased how this diorama came together and how it turned out in the end. The videos for both the stop motion and finger movies are going to be epic, and I can't wait to start the production of these episodes. So stay tuned, as those will be released soon. As always, thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on the future adventures of the new Mountain Town Diorama. Till next time.